Okay, example 1, graph a system of inequalities. It says, what are the solutions to the system of linear inequalities? So I'm actually going to color code these. I'm going to make this first inequality blue and the second inequality green. Let's first graph the blue one. So I know that this is in slope-intercept form, so I need to graph using my M and my B. My slope, there's an invisible 1 in front of the x, so I'm going to put a 1 over 1 because I know my slope is 1 over 1, and then my B is negative 2. So I'm going to begin at negative 2 on the y-axis, and then I'm going to keep going up 1 over 1 until I can't any longer. And then I'm going to go down 1 and left 1 because going down and left is a negative over a negative, which is the same thing as a positive. Okay, I also know that since this says greater than, and it doesn't say greater than or equal to, that it's going to be a dashed line. So we're going to go ahead and put dashes through all of our dots here and put an arrow on either end. Now I need to know whether or not I'm going to shade above or below the line. So I'm going to use my favorite test point 0, 0, which is located above the line. And I'm going to plug 0 in for y and 0 in for x. So I'll have 0 is greater than 0 minus 2. Well, 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Is 0 greater than negative 2? I would say this is true. So I'm going to go ahead and shade above the line where 0, 0 is. Okay, so now let's do the green line. So I know that is also in slope-intercept form. So I know that the M, there's a negative 1 in front of the x, so it's negative 1 over 1, and my y-intercept is positive 1. So I'm going to start at positive 1 on the y-axis, and I'm going to go down 1 and to the right, and I'm going to keep going down 1 to the right, over and over and over again. Now I also know going up is positive and left is negative. So up and to the left is a negative, so I would continue the same line in the opposite direction. Okay, I also know that this says less than or equal to, and since it has less than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So I'm going to connect all of my dots and put my arrows on either side. Now I need to use my test point. I'm going to use the same test point 0, 0 because it doesn't fall on the line. So I'm going to put 0 is less than or equal to negative 0 plus 1. So I have 0 is less than or equal to negative 0 plus 1 is positive 1. 0 is indeed less than 1, so this is true. And since it's true, I'm going to graph below the line because in this case that is where 0, 0 is. I'm going to shade, 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 and shade right over that line. And then do you see where the shading is overlapping? That right there is my solution set. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take a new color and shade that overlapped region so it's super obvious that that right there is the solution region. Everything right here is the solution region in this overlapped area. Not the blue region, not the green region, but where it's like purpley. Okay, so then one last thing. It may ask you a test, quiz, homework, whatever. It may ask you for a viable solution to the system. So a viable solution is any solution that falls within the overlapped region. So for instance, 0, 0 would because it's in the overlapped region. -1, -1 would work. -3, 1 would work. -2, 1 would work. -2, 0 would work. All of these points inside of here are all viable solutions. So if I ask for you to give me an example of a viable solution, you can give me any of these red dots that I have given, any of them. It really doesn't matter. There's a million of them in there. What does not work is any of these points. Nothing that falls in the blue, green, or white regions. None of those are viable solutions. Only the points within the overlapped region. So in this case, let's just make one up. Let's go ahead and say -5, 0. -5, 0 is right there, so it is a viable solution.